It's Tuesday. I'm glad you kids get to just connect with me a little bit, hear my voice, as annoying as it is, but I don't get to see you. It's kind of a messed up situation for me. Give, but when I get blessed is when you kids do your work. Um, it's been a blessing just for me putting all this time and effort into these videos, and then seeing you kids do the work, and even in your email saying, "Hey man, that video really helped me so much better. Understand the assignment, so thank you." Now, a few things I just want to go over quickly is that for some of your teachers, they're going to be adhering to this schedule. This is the new schedule for school, so be mindful of that. That's when some of the teachers are going to be doing their Zoom meetings and lessons and this and that. For me, I'm flexible. You just got to watch my video. Like, look at math. Math's on Tuesday, math's on Thursday, which means, hey, I'm going to be giving you a YouTube video or two every Tuesday and a YouTube video or two every Thursday. That's when our slot is for instruction. Okay, all of our assignments will be due by Friday at midnight though. Okay, so just be mindful of that. I'm going to assign these guys on Tuesday, right? I'm going to assign these guys on Thursday. Everything will be due by Friday at midnight. Now, you will, I'm just letting you know, need to check in with me every Tuesday and Thursday just to show me that you watched the video. It's kind of like attendance. You'll get some points for it. For those of you that are doing your work, you're going to see your grades go up. All right, that's one thing I just kind of want to emphasize. Your grades are going to go up if you're doing your work. Your grades obviously aren't going to go up if you're not doing anything. So it's a perfect opportunity for the kids that have C's, D's, B's, right? Let's try and get up to an A. Why not? Okay. So the keyword for today, let's just say trumpet. Boom. The keyword is trumpet for this YouTube video. So the second this YouTube video is done, you're literally going to open up a loop mail to me, write check-in period 4, and then you're going to write keyword is trumpet. That's it. All right, and then if you want to write something down at the bottom like, hey, Mr. Grasmick, freaking miss you, or write anything, you can if you want. But this is your attendance. Okay, you're going to do the same thing on Thursday. All right, now after that, after you do that, okay, it's time for us to learn a little bit of math now. So let me just slide over to my sketchbook, and let's get our math on. Now, this first lesson is all about shapes, super easy, and I want you to know that a quadrilateral, and this is where you kids can take notes, and I know that's hard to tell, but it's quadrilateral. Okay, it's any shape with 4 sides. I don't care what the shape is. If it's 4 sides, it's a quadrilateral. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Okay, a square is a quadrilateral, a rectangle is a quadrilateral, a diamond, a kite, it doesn't matter. Rhombus, you name it. Okay, everything with 4 sides is a quadrilateral. Okay, this is going to be like everything. Okay, very, very important because they're going to ask you some questions that can be a little tricky on the homework. Now, next, we're going to look at a parallelogram. Now, a parallelogram can really look like anything as long as it has pair of parallel sides, 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, that's a parallelogram. These arrows mean that the sides are parallel. Okay, a parallelogram has 2 pairs. Here's our first pair. Here's our second pair of parallel sides. Okay, so there's a parallelogram. Well, guess what? A rectangle is a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. A square is a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, so those are types of parallelograms. Okay, you can just have a regular old parallelogram, right? You could have a rectangle, which is a more specific type, and you could have a square, which is a really more specific type. Okay, now, in regards to the parallelograms, we have another thing. Okay, let's go into rectangle. Okay, we said that a rectangle is a parallelogram because it has a parallel sides here, and it has parallel sides here. Okay, but it also has, man, that's a little fat side, isn't it? It also has right angles. And that's what really distinguishes it from just a regular old parallelogram. This guy doesn't have right angles. This guy does. Okay? So just be mindful of that. A rectangle is a parallelogram. Now, another, and this is the most specific type of parallelogram there is, which is a square. And this guy's the most specific. He's the most unique because all the sides are actually congruent to each other. Like a square obviously has four sides that are the same, but it has those parallel guys too. And it has four right angles. This is the most like specific shape there is out of the group, right? Because we have quadrilateral, we have parallelogram, we have rectangle, we have square, and the last one, okay, the last one we're going to look at is a rhombus. And the only thing that makes the rhombus a rhombus is that it has four sides that are congruent. That's it. Okay, that's the only thing that makes it a rhombus. So a rhombus can look like a square. Okay, a rhombus is a type of square, right? A square, these guys are kind of like interchangeable. Just remember that, okay, a square is a rhombus. And let me tell you why. Because it has four sides that are congruent. Okay, but a rhombus isn't always a square, right? Because a rhombus can look like this. And not have right angles. This isn't a right angle. Okay, a rhombus can look like this. I'm trying to do my best. Congruent, 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 congruent. Is this thing a square? Heck no, it's not a square. Okay, it's a rhombus. Why is it a rhombus? Because it has four congruent sides. Okay, but this guy's a rhombus too, because it has four congruent sides. So a square is always a rhombus. It's a very specific type of rhombus. Okay, but a rhombus isn't always a square. Thank you. I got a little snack. Alright, so what I said, eat and teach at the same time, I need a drink, man. But a square is always a rhombus, always. Okay, but a rhombus is not always a square. Because look, this guy's super skinny. He's definitely not a square. A rhombus, let me tell you right now too. I got peanuts and I got like peanuts stuck in my throat. Okay? Peanuts. Now, a rectangle is always a quadrilateral. Okay? Everything here is a quadrilateral. A rectangle is definitely a parallelogram. A square is definitely a parallelogram. Okay? A rhombus is a rhombus. Always a parallelogram? Not always. Okay, so this is where it can get a little tricky. And you're going to have to, like, this is just my intro to four-sided shapes. But if I were you when I do the homework, you can Google, like, shoot, I put my pen on this thing and it's going to mess me up here. If I were you, let me just do new window. Yeah, there's these little quadrilateral family right here. Oh, shoot, I had it. And this can help you. Like, everything on here is a quadrilateral. But look, like, I don't know if I like this example. Maybe this one. This guy definitely gives you a lot of characteristics about quadrilaterals. And I'm not trying to go to Pinterest. But shoot, it tells you right there. Parallelogram, rectangle. Now, this guy down here may be even more specific. I don't like how it looks. But it says, like, is always. Like, a parallelogram is always a this, is always a that. So, this is good. This guy's money right here. If you could try and find this, dummies.com education. Okay, identifying the 7 quadrilaterals. Look at this. Look at this picture right here. Okay, everything under this umbrella is a quadrilateral. And this is really good for your homework if you want to like snap this on your phone, because everything under this guy is a quadrilateral. Everything. Okay, but then look what we're going over here. Parallelogram. Okay, a rhombus can be a parallelogram. Rectangle is a parallelogram. Square is a parallelogram. Okay, so in essence, what they're saying is a rhombus is always a parallelogram. A rectangle is always, if you're going up, it's always. If you're going up, it's always. Okay? So they're saying, hey, a rhombus is always a kite. A rhombus is always a parallelogram. A rectangle is always a parallelogram. A square is a type of rectangle, but it's more. But guess what? If you're going down, it's not necessarily. So you can't say a rectangle is always a square or a rhombus is always a square. If you're going down, it's not always. A parallelogram is always a rectangle. No. If you have to go down, it's not always. Okay? So if you're going up, it's always. Like a rectangle is always a parallelogram. Rhombus is, so this little key right here is going to help you on your homework because they're going to ask you a lot of like sometimes, never type of questions. Okay, if you're going side to side, it's never, right? This guy's never this guy's never this guy's never this, okay? So, but this guy over here, that it has that little link. So remember, if we're going down, it's always. If we're going up, it's sometimes, right? Stuff like that. Just be mindful. That'll help you on your homework. Now, I'm assigning you a Khan Academy homework assignment for tonight. Remember, it's due by Friday at midnight. And that's pretty much it. I miss you kids. We're going to do some math on this next one. This was just an introduction to quadrilaterals and shapes. Remember, keywords trumpet. Shoot me an email right after this YouTube. And we'll go from there. Okay? Laters.